he's heard all about.
Let's close it up. There he comes right now.
Welcome to the Mind of Basketball podcast, also known as the M.O.B podcast, NBA Finals Edition. I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And it's our basketball podcast where we recap, break down the players and teams in the NBA Finals from the previous games from the previous day. We are finally here. All season long, Ja. This is what we're here for. This is the ultimate goal, the ultimate prize. So all basketball players dreamed of, all the fans dream of for their team. We're here, NBA Finals. Doesn't get bigger than this. Does not get bigger than this. Of course, unless you have terrible connection. We'll be back. Well, we're all year for this, prepared for this, thought about this a lot. But also, we have this big grand intro. And then, of course, Josh's connection goes out. Can't make this up. Can't make this up. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
What a way to start the podcast. Special edition of our podcast. And well, as I was saying, we're here. This is the NBA Finals. This is our NBA Finals special where we predict our teams and who's going to win the NBA championship, along with going in depth on each team, players, coaching, key matchups, and all that kind of stuff there. So, Ja, I say we get into it. I say get into it.
Let's do this. I'm here.
All right. So we have the Eastern Conference champs, the Milwaukee Bucks, facing the Western Conference champs, the Phoenix Suns. And as two teams that I don't think a lot of people saw getting here.
Well, yeah, but I say the Bucks probably were better favorites or more likely to get here, even though they were below some guys. But yeah, two unlikely favorites to be here.
See, I say the opposite. I say the Suns more likely to be here. Because, well, for me, the Suns were my dark horse this year. And I had the Lakers win it all, but if the Suns, I thought in my mind, the Suns did beat the Lakers, and the Suns would be the ones going to the finals. Eventually, I had them losing to the Nets, who I had beating the Bucks the second round.
Yeah.
So I already had the Suns going to the finals. The Bucks, I had them losing in the second round. And it was about a half inch away from losing. So.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
But anyway, they're here, so you got to give them credit where credit is due. They got here because they have about a 7-foot beast that can just walk down to the paint and just dunk.
Exactly. Don't take no skill at all.
None at all. run and jump. Someone that does take skill has Chris Middleton, someone who can give his own shot, someone who can post up, someone who can score at any spot on the floor, someone who can get hot, and when he gets hot, that can be game. Along with the big addition that is paying off very well for this Bucks team, that is Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, and we saw the full potential of what he can do on this team in the Hawks series, previous round. So that was a big acquisition. Poor Bledsoe, but I think for this series,
let that man be, man.
sorry. For this series, I think that Drew Holiday is going to be the X factor. Giannis is obviously going to be hurt. We don't even know if he's going to play the first few games. I believe he will play this series, but he's doubtful for game 1, and he's doubtful for game 2. They say he might come back as early as game 3, but we'll see what happens. So that means that Drew Holiday, we saw how aggressive he was with Giannis out. With Giannis out the paint and with Giannis not having the ball. We're going to need that from him again if the Bucks want to have a chance to win this series.
Yeah, no question. And I'll tell you this, right? When it comes to Drew Holiday, a star in this league, right? A star, probably not at the top, but when I look at him, I always say this, right? I say he's not flashy, he's not anything extraordinary, he's not anything crazy, right? He doesn't pop out at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I say his game is so polished that it really looks smooth. For what he does, it's so polished that it's really smooth. The things that he could do on the court, from what he could do offensively, in terms of his ball handling, getting into the paint, finishing around the rim, hitting mid ranges and stuff. It's really smooth. You know what I mean? And defensively, well, we saw what he did 3 years ago. And if you don't remember, don't remind Damian Lillard because he might just want to smack you and call you a chump. But we see how much of a defensive ace he is. One of the best defensive guards in the game. His smarts and his abilities, his timing and everything defensively is all there. I really have to agree with you. For this Bucks team, he will be the X factor because of the simple fact of why did they bring him here?
Mm-hmm.
And that plays a big role.
You're exactly right. And also, in that Hawks series in game 2, he helped in bringing Trae Young's worst performance of the playoffs so far.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Drew Holiday, we know what he could do defensively. And that's going to be big time, especially when you have someone on the opposite side who's been waiting 16 years, 16 long years to get to where he is in this position. And now he's finally here, and you know that dog is going to be out there. That's Chris Paul. You know he's going to want this more than anybody on each court.
Hey, man, you know he's going to pull out the secret stuff. He's going to pull out the secret stuff.
I have 100% faith that even though this is his first finals, Chris Paul will show up.
Well, he's one of the greatest of all time in terms of point guards. Probably one of the greatest players of all time. Probably one of the most smartest players of all time. We know what he has done. We know the impact that he has on this game and what he has transcended each and every time he has went on a certain team. So I feel like he gonna show up. That's kind of disrespectful if you really think he's not. Not saying anything can happen, because anything could happen. But I feel like for me personally, for me to say that he's not going to show up will be a smack in the face. Even worse than saying that MJ wouldn't show up. Okay, not worse than what MJ not.
That was high praise. That was high praise. Wait, come on. Chris Paul deserves it. Chris Paul deserves it.
Yeah, but I take that back. I can't disrespect MJ like that. You know, that's a sin. Bad luck. I
haven't seen anything MJ done the past 23 years, bro. So. Maybe not 23, maybe 21.
You're so daring, man. I swear to God.
But anyway, back to Chris Paul. You know that he's gonna be the running engine for this team.
Yeah.
He's their facilitator and their playmaker, and he's amazing at that. And also, as we saw, he can take over games when he needs to. And that's going to be very key for this team. That leadership that he has on and off the court, that's going to be very key for this team. The way he takes over games that we saw throughout his career, especially in big situations, that's going to be big because they're going to need that. Because this is a young team, and this is the biggest stage they ever been on. But even with that, as we saw this entire postseason, this doesn't feel like a young team because they're here in their first postseason together. They're here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, let's be honest here. We bring it up all the time how it's crazy how these young guys are playing like, like we've been in the league for like 10 to 20 years now and stuff like that. And the way they just look poised and just real calm with the way they've been executing and stuff. But let's be honest, it's a young game. It's a young man's league now. It's a young man's league now.
Always been.
Today's game. Well, yes, look, it's been a grown man's league. It's never always been young. It probably transitioned it probably started transitioning around Kobe's time when he was coming in his prime was over, but it never been this young before. It's really young now.
Yeah, it is really young.
Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, they haven't been playing they've been playing like they've been here so many times before, like they've been to the finals like 30 times, or they've been to the playoffs or this deep in the playoffs like 30 times, and you want to see what they could do in this final series. And now getting into it, I want to talk about who I feel like could be my X factor in terms of looking at this Suns team, and that is the person who's been just going off this whole postseason as their big, DeAndre Ayton. I feel like he will be the X factor in terms of how his production could be. We know how talented DeAndre Ayton is. We've seen what he could be in the future, and this postseason most definitely showed his peak in terms of what he could potentially be doing if he at his peak prime, if it ever happens. God forbid. Just but
I think it will happen.
Yeah, but he's been doing great this whole postseason. Just look at the guys we have to go against. Well, I'm not gonna bring up Porzingis because it wasn't really much. But oh wait, I said Porzingis. I'm stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Sorry. I mean AD. I'm sorry.
No, he shut down AD in game one, even though AD had a better performance in game two. And even though AD did get hurt, when AD was playing, DeAndre Ayton held his own, and he played great.
Yeah. Against AD, you talk about that. Then you talk about the next round.
The MVP.
Yeah.
The MVP.
Nikola Jokic. He went out with Nikola Jokic. They swept them, and he held his own against AD and the MVP. And then you talk about the Clippers. He had to go against Zubac, and who else am I missing? I'm not missing. It's just Zubac, right?
Yeah. I mean, really, just Zubac, because that was their big man.
Yeah. So he
kind of a downgrade.
Okay. Yeah, it's a downgrade from the other two, but hey, it's still a really good talent enough to which you have to come out and play your hardest enough.
Mm-hmm.
He has taken on the challenge, and he has either met expectations or, in my opinion, exceeded his expectations of how he's been playing, especially against his challenges. And he showed it, and I feel like this is his time now. Yeah, he's probably not going to be able to. This is him versus Brook. This is him versus Brook right here. Let's see who's gonna get the better out of the two matchup.
Yeah, I mean, and we see Brook. Seen Brook when he's on low post, Mike and Nike. He's playing great basketball. He's playing tremendous.
Yeah.
That's gonna be very key in terms of the coaching. Will Brook Lopez, will those guys be down low more? Will they play in the paint more? Or will they be a 3-point shooting team? I don't think that 3-point shooting team is going to work out for them. I think if they go that route, they definitely lose. I think we need to stay in the paint more, like that second half of Game 6 and all of Game 5, where they just dominated, went in the paint, and then more in that second half of Game 6 against the Hawks. Then they got hot on three-point line, or one of the players got hot. Then the rest of the team kind of revolved around that. So if they can do that, okay, fine. But don't three-point shots not falling. Just start on the paint. Just start on the paint. Work your way out. Bring yourself in the paint more. It brings more help defense. That brings more traps. That brings more double team. That leaves more guys open. I will never get upset with teams. They're taking a lot of threes. If they're wide open, I don't care. Because they're wide open. We're just gonna stop shooting them because they're not falling, even though you're wide open. That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
If you're wide open, keep shooting.
Yeah, but I think here's the thing with that too. If they get happy from the three, which a lot of teams have been getting happy from the three, knowing that they ain't Stephen Curry and Golden State of old. If they start getting happy from the three, in which they start just pulling, and they know that they're inconsistent at times, and you know they're gonna have a bad, and they end up having a bad shooting night. Well, and they decide at whatever moment to start getting to the paint. Well, obviously we don't have to really focus on Giannis, of course, right? Because Giannis is going to still get his in the paint regardless. But teams such as the Suns that play really good team defense will capitalize on the fact of knowing they're not really shooting it well from the three, so they're going to try to take their ways inside and try to work. We need to find a scheme to keep them from being cold from inside and outside. They already show that they're not hitting out their shots yet. We have them at an advantage right there. Let's get a better opportunity by closing down the paint. And I feel like if this Bucks do get into a situation like that, the Suns will find a way. They will find a way to try to lock down that paint big time or make it really challenging.
Yeah, they could. But if Brook Lopez is on his game, Brook Lopez is shooting the ball inside well and get to a spot. I mean, DeAndre Ayton is really great, but I've seen Brook Lopez for many years. I've seen Brook Lopez play great down low. And also they got another guy in Bobby Portis who played amazing in the Atlanta series. He played great.
Yeah.
So now you go worry about him, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, and those two guys are going to be very key because, like I said, Giannis, even if he does play, he's going to be playing hurt.
Yeah.
So you want to ease that pressure off. If you want to some more minutes in. If you want to make sure that your team is still effective when Giannis is off the floor or when Giannis is not playing, then just like last series, Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez are going to have to play well.
Yeah. Question.
And, earlier I mentioned a little bit, taking over in terms of taking over games, Chris Paul, because he's able to take over games, game situations. But besides him, both teams have one player each that can take over. They both play the same position. From the Bucks side, you got Chris Middleton. And we saw sometimes he gets streaky, sometimes he's inconsistent. That's why we both be on him a lot because we know what he can do. And then what happened in Game 3 against the Hawks? Outscored Atlanta by himself in the fourth quarter. By himself.
He was talking to 007 that night.
And then we saw what he did in the third quarter in Game 6, the closeout game. Just dominated and took over. I mean, he has so much skill. And even when Giannis is on the floor, you're going to give him the ball sometimes because he can't hit the free throw.
Yeah.
Also, he can't take guys one-on-one off the dribble the way Chris Middleton can. He can take you one-on-one. He can post you up. He can shoot the three. He can shoot the two. He can go inside. So that ability that he has when he's able to take over, it's scary. It is scary.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. It is. And I know Jabari Parker's at home saying, damn, that should have been me.
I had to bring up Jabari like that, man.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
I love Jabari's game, but I'm just saying. Hey,
But
man, I'm just saying.
I got Blood Soul. You got Jabari. Sure, 1 for 1. 1 for 1.
Yep.
And then on the other side, you just got this cold-blooded assassin. This young vet, it seems. You know, a man at such a young age that scored 70 points in the game. Some of which I thought was foul hunting, but
Yeah.
that's not. I won't hate. I won't hate. Someone who's just been, as you like to call it, a professional scorer since he stepped foot in the league. Maybe even before that, say in college.
Yeah.
Someone at the age of what, 24?
He don't turn 25 until later this year. Yeah.
Who has been having an amazing postseason in his debut. Probably second to Trae Young this year.
Yeah.
But debatably. And that is Devin Booker. Someone who Kobe said, be legendary. And he's proving it. And he's been proving it this entire year for this Phoenix Suns team. He is their franchise player. Obviously, they put it all around him. Chris Paul came here. His main reason that he has said, because of Devin Booker, because of what he can do, because of the potential that he has, superstar potential that he has, the way he can take over games, the way he can score, well, the way he can come up clutch in big late game situation.
Yeah. It's crazy. I look at somebody like Devin Booker, right? It's crazy how the dude is 24 and he's been in the league for 5 to 6 years now. Oh, I'm sorry. Over there, move from the camera, please. Move from the camera. Yo, stop kicking. Move from the camera. All right, as I was saying,
Those kids don't
it's crazy how
this.
Hey man, again, note to self: never have kids. All right, as I was saying.
Yep.
Been in the league for half a decade now. Only 24 years old, and the stuff that he has piled up to at this point is just amazing. Individually, and now, well, individually for sure has been majority of it, but now you're starting to see it flow with team success and what he could do. And it's crazy how, because in my opinion, with his skill, talent level, and everything, I felt like he should have been a multiple-time All-Star. Obviously, he got snubbed for good reasons and bad reasons.
Mostly bad.
Yeah, mostly bad, yes. But who could say that at this age, they could, like, not a lot could say this, but at this age, with no true dominant big man or whatsoever, they are in the NBA Finals as one of their team's best players. Not a lot of people could say that. And Devin Booker, he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to be a man on this mission in this finals for sure.
Yep, and he's gonna be a player. He's gonna be a player to look out. His matchup's gonna be something to look out for. Chris Middleton and Devin Booker. Both of their abilities to score, both their abilities to take over and kind of close out a game for their respective teams. That's gonna be big time. We gotta see who's gonna have the upper hand in that battle, which I think is gonna be Devin Booker. But we mentioned the stars. Mentioned the kind of third player. Giannis is hurt. I don't think we have to really talk about if Giannis, what would he do if he was healthy and what he was playing. So we all know what he would do. Just keep giving the ball in the low post. One move, he's right there. One move, he's right there. It's gonna be a hook shot. It's gonna be a layup, or it's gonna be a dunk.
Hey man, no skill at all. Once again.
So I think we know he can be his ability to dominate.
Yeah.
And if he were healthy, if he was playing, he will be in that paint dominating. And I don't think there's any one person that can stop him in the league. That's why it takes the whole team to stop him. So I don't think we need to really go that in depth on Giannis. As long as he's in the low post and not bringing up the ball off the floor, I think the Bucks have a much better chance of winning this series. Obviously, the foul shooting is a problem, but we're gonna have to get over that. As long as he's in the low post, as long as he's not shooting threes, as long as he's not bringing the ball up the court, you can live with the bad foul shooting.
You hear that, Budenholzer?
To an extent.
Yeah.
You said you hear that? I mean, well, actually, we'll save that. But like I said, mention the stars. Mention a little bit of these guys that I'm about to mention, but role players. Role players are one of the most important things that you need for a championship team.
Yeah.
They're the guys you don't game plan for, sometimes come out of nowhere and just have this amazing performance. We've seen it all postseason long. And these teams have their fair share of role players. Yeah. For the Suns, he's like a guy that's someone who hasn't even been in the league. Someone who is known for dancing. He's been to the playoffs, but all he did was use a bench warmer. He didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
This was really his first playoffs. In a good position. Some way he's able to do something. And man, did he do something. In times where that first round series, Chris Paul was playing hurt, he stepped up. When Chris Paul was injured or was out due to COVID, he stepped up.
Yeah.
Even when Chris Paul was playing as his backup point guard, he stepped up. That's Cameron Payne.
Mm-hmm.
He was so big time this postseason. I know it's the biggest stage he's ever been on, but he's gonna need to be like that again, or at least somewhat like that.
Yeah, no question, man. Cameron Payne, he's just been putting himself out there this whole postseason in terms of what he could do. Nobody knows who he is whatsoever, or they probably do from OKC, obviously, because he used to always be just like what you said, dancing with Westbrook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was mainly known for. But he has shown anybody, I got game. And he could once again prove it on one of the biggest stages ever, and truly, even if he hasn't made a name for himself, which I would be shocked if he didn't, but if he hasn't made a name for himself yet, this finals is the time to prove it and to show not only yourself, or you have faith in yourself, but to show other teams interest for anything future down the line. If Phoenix, not to go advanced, but if Phoenix decides to keep him or put him away, this is his time. This is his opportunity. This is his moment.
Well, more than that, and something that I hope that he's more focused on is, the NBA championship.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
I hope he has his mindset on that, which I'm pretty sure he has his mindset on that, because it doesn't get better than this. You know what I mean? So he's gonna have to play well. He's gonna have to show up. I've seen a lot of role players step up throughout the years of their respective NBA championships. Guys like John Paxson, guys like Steve Kerr, guys like Robert Horry, Derek Fisher, Kenny Smith. Those guys, Ray Allen, when he played in Miami, not in Boston. He wasn't role playing in Boston. Mike Miller, guys like that. So guys like Cameron Payne, you've seen in the past, he's gonna need to step up. Also, who else we have on this team? You have Jay Crowder, a vet, someone who has just been here 7 months ago or 8 months ago. You know, he knows his stage. He knows what to do. I mean, he's guarded the best of best. Guarded LeBron James, of course. He's a great 3-and-D player. He's gonna also need to step up. He can't be inconsistent from deep. You're gonna need that.
Yeah.
If he's gonna be open, he needs to shoot it. He needs to make it.
Yeah.
So guys like Cam Johnson,
Shooter.
We mentioned the 3-point shot. I mean, 3-point shot is big now. So in the Suns team, they do their fair share of relying on it a bit, you know, in certain spurts of the game.
Yeah.
And we see his shot making ability in terms of his 3-point shot. We see how deadly he can be. He's gonna need to be that same deadliness, you know. Mikal Bridges, someone who I feel like is become a very, very vital part to the Phoenix Suns' success. Someone who can slash, someone who can shoot, someone who can defend, someone who can ball handle. He's gonna need to step up. He's gonna need to be that player that he's been all year.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, Mikal Bridges, he's just been like, you know, he's just been on one. He's just been on one, especially for this Suns team in the postseason run. When he was drafted, you could see the potential. We obviously we didn't know about him much, but like, you know, when you watch games, you see the potential, you see what he could do, and you see how valuable of a team player he could be in terms of his skill set and the value that brings, and most importantly on the defensive end, you know. And they use the old saying, defense wins championships, even though that isn't true, because you do got to get a bucket though, and also to get a higher score than the other people. The defense helps out a lot. Come on now.
We'll have this debate.
later. His defense is highly valuable. His whole game, his whole all-around two-way game is valuable. But more importantly, the defensive side of it is important because, again, when you're on a team that plays team defense, your intelligence on that side of the ball is very crucial within moments that could be highly important.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I feel like Mikal Bridges is going to be that valuable piece, especially defensively on this team.
Yeah. He's gonna be very key. We're gonna need to see what he can do. Also, maybe in stretches where defense on the opposite side is great on the stars. Those other guys are gonna need to step up. You know, seen it a lot. One of my moments that I've seen, remember Game 7, Celtics Lakers, 2010, where nobody could hit a shot. And I mean, the only guy who hit a shot was probably Pau Gasol. But and then late, it wasn't Kobe with the shot. It wasn't even Pau Gasol. It was Ron Artest. So sometimes you get a need those guys to step up. So Mikal Bridges, I think, is a great player to fit that role. Someone who could step up when maybe the star player is not playing their best. When the defense is, they're really on top of those guys. So I think he's gonna need to. I think he can do that. We'll see if he will. And the opposite side, you mentioned defense. Well, someone who been playing great defense all year. Someone who's tried his best to guard best scorer in the league today, Kevin Durant, PJ Tucker. Someone his role on this team is in the defense side of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, even though Kevin Durant's still Kevin Durant, so he got, you know, we know, but
he got done.
Mm-hmm.
He got cooked. Yeah.
So in certain spouts and certain spurts, he played great defense on them and contested them, and you know, stopped them for a little bit in certain points of the game.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that he's gonna need to do that again. I don't know. I think that they probably might put him to guard Devin Booker. You know, that's a tall task, but I mean, like I said, he just guarded Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not, all due respect to Devin Booker, it's kind of a drop off.
Mm-hmm. He handled
himself a lot better.
But hey, look, if you want to give PJ Tucker some confidence, just realize Pat Bev was hounding Devin Booker in their last series in terms of what that Suns versus Clippers. So if Pat Bev could do that to Devin Booker, I've not, and that's no disrespect to Pat Bev, and there's no disrespect to Devin or whatsoever. But if Pat Bev is doing that to Devin Booker, then you should be able to do better. You're around the same size, same. The PJ Tucker is around his height, right?
Yeah. No, he is.
Yeah.
Right.
Same size, same height. I feel like this could be more of a containable matchup. You're not dealing with somebody who's 7 feet. You know, you're dealing with somebody around your area, around your height and weight area. Well, I don't know about the weight area, but height area for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see what you could do.
Mm-hmm. And also on the opposite side of the ball is a good corner specialist. You know, they like to kick it out a lot of times when you penetrate in the paint. So if they want to play inside, which I think they should, because that's their best chance to win, he's gonna need to hit his shots on the corners.
Yeah.
Pat Connaughton. Throughout the postseason, I've seen he's a tremendous offensive rebounder. He's great at hustling and getting down and just back tapping it. You know, those are winning plays. Those are hustle plays. Those are the plays that you want. The players that you're looking for when you're trying to build a championship team. You need at least one or two of those guys.
No question. Pat Connaughton. Again, you talk about this Bucks team. That's all they got. They got guys who could contribute so many ways, especially with just doing the dirty work. And I feel like Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, they I say, yeah, we're gonna pretend I said his name correctly. Like Pat
Connaughton.
the Rock.
You said it.
Okay, just making sure. But
I get nervous every time I say it.
Yeah, but like, you know, being able to hustle points, get those rebounds, fight on the defensive end, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, put your life out there, put your body out there for the team. Is things that are highly sought after. You know what I mean? And when you know what you could do, especially for a team that's this talented, and you know the role that you could bring, this is important. And I feel like Pat Connaughton is going to really do good, especially on the rebound effort, because again, you are an athletic guy. You should be able to kind of do those things.
Yeah. You mentioned hustle. You mentioned Bobby Portis. Yeah, that's what he brings to this team.
Yep.
Especially on the home floor, man, they love Bobby Portis in Milwaukee.
Exactly.
So they're gonna need that from him. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, play more in the low post, Milwaukee, if you want your best chance to win. Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, they're gonna need to step up. I both play great, especially Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is a way better low post player that can shoot rather than a stretch big that can go in low post sometimes.
Yeah.
So leave him in the low post. I understand he can shoot. He's a good stretch big. If he's open, I don't care. Sometimes if you want to space the floor a few possessions, okay, that's fine. But most of the time, 90% of the time, I need Brook Lopez to be down low. I need Bobby Portis also to down low because sometimes he be on that three-point line too. So I need more of them guys that be down low. And when you're down low, bring that attention. Bryn Forbes, Pat Connaughton is going to need to hit their shots. Sometimes they get inconsistent, especially Bryn. You need to hit your shots when you're open.
Hey, let me tell you something. You better get Jimmy on the Suns.
Stop. The Suns. Don't do that. Don't do that. I just realized. Don't do that. But like I said, and this eventually all boils down, well, to coaching. Coaching. I've mentioned all year, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Coach Mike and Nike. But
it was funny.
You know, when he does bring these the game plans and the strategies of the Bucks team in terms of give Middleton the ball one-on-one or setting up a play, coming up out of timeout, being down low and low post with Giannis, Brook Lopez. The Bucks play almost perfect basketball, like they cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why they're here, that in addition to the players that they have. Because when they do that, they're damn near unstoppable.
Yeah, no question. No question.
However, don't always do that. That's what it boils down to. Mike Budenholzer, you need to be consistent this series. This is the biggest stage. There's no other bigger stage than this. You need to bring your best coaching strategy, best coaching plan, prepared to make adjustments because the game switches like that on the fly sometimes.
Yeah.
You need to play. You need to coach like how you've coached when you've blown out teams. You need to coach how you coach for the majority of that Atlanta series.
Yeah.
Coach like that and not inconsistent, the Bucks most likely will win this series.
Mm-hmm.
Then, Ja, who you got on the opposite side?
In terms of the opposite side, well, there's Monty Williams, like, been a coach for a good minute, or wasn't. Well, he went on a kind of a hiatus, but like, he has coaching experience, but yet he was never this deep.
No.
He was never this deep. He never been this deep before, and the fact that he's here with a young team, things have went his way and stuff, it is amazing. And it's all, and look at, hey, we could say Chris Paul, we could say Devin Booker constantly emerging as one of these great talents, like, all of this stuff like that, DeAndre. But let's be honest, it's all coaching. And it's all knowing your players and knowing your personnel and knowing how to develop them, work around them. And I feel like Monty Williams has done that. Like, he became the coach of the Suns just like, when was it? Like
this
before
year.
they entered the bubble? Yeah. Like, oh, it was this year? I thought he was the coach when they entered the bubble.
That was Alvin Gentry was the coach, I believe.
Okay. But the fact that you took your time to know this team, understand this team, know the flaws and stuff, know the flaws and the strengths and everything like that, to build around that. Also to connect with the organization on how you could get certain players to get here to help try to build something like this. And again, they're all young. Majority of them are young. It's just amazing. And I feel like Monty is that guy who could strategize, like him and Ty Lue. When I look at these two coaches, I say they are really good strategizing coaches. They know how to make the right strategies, the right plays at the right time, given the fact that they got the right players suited around them. When you got somebody like Chris Paul, just know stuff gonna get done, right? Stuff was definitely gonna get done. And it has showed. And again, don't forget, Monty and Chris Paul got a personal relationship in terms of the fact they've been together before, I believe, in New Orleans.
Yes.
In one of those years, So it's just like, you know what I mean? I feel like in terms of when you're comparing coaching, yes, Budenholzer has more experience in terms of being deep. But in terms of feeling like you need to make the right decisions at the right time and not change things up, just like what you said is a problem with Budenholzer. The fact that he makes changes at a time when there's no need to make a change at all.
Or he doesn't make changes when he should.
Or he doesn't make changes when he should. I feel like Monty has it from that standpoint. From whether it's because don't forget he was an NBA player and he was great on the defensive end. I feel like he coaches his team well in terms of their team defense and their strategies. I feel like also, again, with Chris Paul running the helm, he's able to make the offense flow nice. He's always focused on Booker and Ayton in terms of how they could get theirs. I feel like for a coach like that, I feel like Monty just has the advantage a little bit. In essence of that.
I know, I 100% agree with you that Monty has the advantage here. He's a great strategist coach. Also, one big reason Suns had success because of him, obviously, and because of their fast break game, where they just
Yeah.
get down and just run. You know, also how big they are, how great they are on the road.
Yeah.
That's probably a lot of it goes to Chris Paul, but also coaching.
Yeah.
You know, to be like a road dog, so to speak. That's leadership from your best player,
Mhm.
and that's also coaching.
Yeah.
So Monty Williams probably has that advantage. Well, not probably. He has that advantage over Mike Williams. So I think he wins that matchup.
Yeah.
But we talking all about this, talking all about players, coaches, and role players and all that. But what about the predictions? Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. 2021 NBA Finals. Who do you have winning it all? Who do you have coming NBA champions?
I had to think long and a good minute on this one, right? I had to really think long and hard on this one. You obviously have to do the same. Again, this is the finals we're talking about here, right?
Yep.
I look at everything. Again, we just talked about coaching. We could talk about the fact of the backcourt. The backcourt duel is going to be amazing in this series. That's by far no question. Hindrance, Giannis, obviously.
Yes, that's
We
big.
just don't know. Yeah, that is a big question mark. A major freaking breaking news stamp or whatsoever, however you want to put it. But the Bucks have been long in this for a long time. They got who they wanted to try to help bring them over the hump. But this is the year of the CP3 of the point guard. I believe he's been fighting for this. He's been longer for this. He's been everything, and I'm not using that as a way to say it's a personal bias thing, or anything right there. But I just
we
feel
all know
like,
this. We all know that.
yeah, I just feel like after all the things he has to endure and everything, even longer than Giannis,
Yeah.
God has put him in this position here to try to, I'm not religious, but I'm just saying, but God has put him in this position here to show what could potentially happen. I gotta have the Phoenix Suns winning in 7 games.
That's a good pick. In the words of Giannis. And honestly, I cannot disagree. Everything you said, I think they win the coaching battle. I think Devin Booker is more of a consistent player than Chris Middleton. I think even though Drew Holiday is a great addition to this team, Chris Paul is obviously a better player. The Suns have a better system. They're great. They are amazing at home and great on the road.
Yeah.
They can win it in late game situations. They have amazing plays in terms of timeouts. I mean, look at the value. This is their year. This is just their year. They have a great collective group. They have great role players. They have the great stars. They have great big men, and they have a great coach.
Yep.
So, like you said, have to go with the Phoenix Suns winning in 6. 6 for me.
I like it. And let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about it a little bit though, real quickly. Well, I feel like a difference that we didn't bring up is the fact of something that I felt like the Nets kind of showed the weakness of the Bucks a little bit in terms of one of the things that when they do get cold, what they usually try to do They usually try to go for one-on-one basketball, and that is not their forte.
Yeah.
There's not when you look at these teams. When you look at that team, there's only two players who you could say are naturally ISO players who could get theirs on either shot create or get to the bucket, and that's Middleton and Drew.
Yes.
Of course, obviously Giannis could do it too, but Giannis isn't as polished as those guys in the one-on-one setting. That's what I mean from it. And then when you look at the Suns team, you talk about Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Cameron Payne. Who else? I know I'm missing someone else.
Bridges.
Mikal if he wanted to. Bridges, yeah. Mikal Bridges if he wanted to. Don't forget, people tend to forget also a sleeper a little bit. Dario Saric. Don't forget what he was doing before he even got to this point right here.
Not to even mention
You know
Dario Saric.
Exactly. You know? Like, Phoenix is just a offensively well-built team in terms they could kill you in many ways. There's no disrespect to the Bucks or anything, but it's just like, you know, that's an important factor. If you need, all I gotta say, go switch up what Chris Paul did to close out the series against the Clippers. Just go switch up what he did, and then go switch up what Devin Booker did. Mid-range downs. That's all I gotta say.
What Chris Paul did in the Clippers series? What's what Chris Paul did in the Nuggets series? What's what Chris Paul did 3 years ago when he to get his first Western Conference Finals appearance against the Jazz? What's that up to?
Yep.
His ability to take over games. I mean, you're right, but it's just not that because when Middleton is hot, you give him the ball one-on-one. I don't care. Just give him the ball.
Exactly.
And I know that. And when it is Gerald is attacking, okay, you can play one-on-one, but that's not the Bucks' best game. It's not the Bucks' best game. You only do that when Chris Middleton is hot. You don't do that on a consistent basis all the time, especially when they're cold. You don't do that. When you're cold, you have to get the ball rotation going. You have to get open shots or points in the paint. And that's what I feel like they don't do sometimes. And Gerald, sometimes he goes one-on-one and you want to take a step back three or you want to shoot a three. I mean, only when you're in rhythm, you're going to make that shot. It's not your shot, Drew.
Exactly.
And the Bucks are they're criminal to that. They have done that, and like you said, the Nets are kind of exposed that in that series. So yeah, it's going to be big to see whether they do that or not in this series, and this is going to be obviously the biggest series of both teams and both players. It's the biggest stage. So this is what we're here for.
Yeah, man.
Yes, you heard it. Heard it here. Ja has the Phoenix Suns in 7. I have the Phoenix Suns in 6. The games don't really matter, but most importantly, we have the Phoenix Suns winning it all.
Yep. No question. Phoenix versus Milwaukee. Wow. What an embarrassing places to go, huh? But Charles loved one of them, so hey, I guess it must be good.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Embarrassing places to
go. I did that.
But all right. My prediction might have been different if Giannis was fully healthy and playing. Yeah. Just to put that out there, it might have been different. But you gotta take that guy has to go into account. You can't just exclude that.
Exactly.
All right. Well, talking about who we have for the series and how many games, but we have game 1. Because tonight, game 1 on ABC, 9 o'clock in Phoenix, Arizona. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Who do you have?
I got them boys from the Valley.
Same. I got Phoenix Suns in game 1. And it's gonna be, let's just say, it's gonna be very important for the Bucks without Giannis, especially the way the Suns play on both home and road. Bucks gonna need to steal at least one game
on the road. Yep, no question.
They definitely going to need to, because the Suns play better on the road than the Bucks do.
Yeah.
So they're gonna need to steal one game. But all right. Oh, by the way, just quick. News. There was just quick news.
You go ahead.
Just want to say congratulations because it was officially announced. Nate McMillan now officially has the Hawks head coaching job. You know, he was the interim all year because he wasn't originally planned to be the coach. He was the assistant coach. Lloyd Pierce was the coach. Then he became interim. Now he's officially the head coach, and obviously not debated by anybody because he deserves it the way he had his Hawks team playing from the jump. So congratulations to Nate McMillan. Very well deserved. Indiana crying right now, but Nate McMillan, official head coach of the Atlanta Hawks.
Indiana crying right now. I know the Sixers wish they got him after what they did to him in the series, man.
Don't do that to Doc.
I'm just saying. That.
But all right. And yeah, for game one, Giannis will be doubtful.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play game one. Game two, I think he's going to play game two. Though. I do think he's going to play game two. That's just my personal opinion. I don't have sources.
Yeah. Well, they said that the injury isn't crazy as we thought it would be.
Yeah.
It was bad, but it wasn't like anything worse in terms of like, you know, having to probably like unlike a Kawhi, like miss the whole thing series.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I believe that he won't be back game one for sure. But from that point on, I'm not gonna make any true assumption or prediction on what I feel like will happen with his return or whatsoever.
Yeah. But it's gonna be I'm looking forward to this series. It's gonna be a great series. Two teams that we did not expect to be here, but I love it. Just brings predictability. Game one tonight. I see the kids can't wait for game one either. ABC, 9 o'clock. It's gonna be a big series, and as you mentioned, two backcourts. We're looking for that. Two backcourts. Both teams. Middleton, Booker, Holiday, CP3. But all right, all of that being said, got anything to add?
Oh no, man. Dang, I'm just ready for this. I'm just ready for this. You know what I mean? Again, these are two teams of setting places like, you know, didn't expect to see in the finals, but like, you know, we here, and I'm just ready to see. I'm just happy to see Chris Paul, to be honest. That like again, I don't want to be biased, but I gotta be biased. I'm just happy to see CP3. I want to see this now. It's been a long time waiting.
Well, I'll be happy either way because Bucks win. You know how much I love Giannis.
Yeah.
That means all that criticism, all you idiots can shut up. Chris Paul wins. It'll be well deserved. Something that we all been waiting for. So I'm fine with either outcome. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I got the Suns. You got the Suns. Maybe the Bucks will surprise us. With all of that being said, thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure to tune in to tomorrow's podcast recapping game one of the NBA Finals. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, support the channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
Also follow our IG and our TikTok down in the description below.
And of course, once again, I'm Evan.
I'm John.
And this was the Mind of Basketball podcast.
Finally, NBA Finals Edition.
NBA Finals Edition.